love. So today I just wanted to do a little video delving into self-confidence, feeling more confident in yourself, a little touch on self-esteem and stuff like that as well. But these are just going to be a few things that I've either learned into or had to realise to kind of feel more grounded in myself and feel a lot more secure in who I am. And it's helped me a lot over the years, because honest to God, I used to be one of those people where I was like dead quiet even in my own friend group, and I wasn't confident in myself whatsoever. And I think that was because at the time I wasn't really being myself either. I wasn't really sure who I was. And just over time, as I've gradually learned and I've healed from past things, I've just found me footing with who I actually am. And you know what? You should embrace who you are, because you're powerful, baby, and you need to fucking realise it. So without further ado, let go. So I think the first point that I want to touch on is a big key to me finding more confidence in being myself was definitely finding a sense of self-awareness. And by that, I mean kind of finding out more who I was and finding more of a purpose in the things I was doing. So whether that be through your career, what you want to, you might be in school, you should be doing what you want to do, not what you think you should be doing, your parents think you should be doing, all this sort of stuff. If you're not following a path that aligns right with you, I definitely noticed that it did impact my confidence, because I wasn't being true to myself. So you're not going to feel confident in you if it's not actually you, if that makes sense. But definitely finding some self-awareness, and just finding more of a purpose in what you're doing. For me, I started feeling very in touch with my energetic sort of thing. I didn't really understand what it was at first. It affected my anxiety a lot. It affected my mood mainly a lot, but also the way I acted, and I was taking on a lot energetically from other people. And then as I've grown and I've started to understand what that was, I've always wanted to help people. I used to want to go down a more medical pathway, or more traditional medical, should I say. And then as I've come to it, I realised my path is what I want to do. I want to start holistic healing. So I've started my Reiki. I want to go on to be able to teach my yoga, because there are things that have helped me with my mental health tremendously, even my physical health tremendously. And it just became a little calling for me. And then once I've found that sense of purpose and I knew really what I wanted to do, I just embraced that fully, and I became a lot more confident in myself, because I sat there and I went, this is me, this is what I want to do. There wasn't all these questions like, oh, is this the right time for this? Should I really be going down this path? It just felt so right, and I wasn't even questioning the timing whatsoever, because I believe everything will come into flow at the right time when it's meant to, as long as I stay true to who I am and keep pushing down this path. And there's probably a lot of you out there as well who are sat thinking, oh God, I didn't fucking know what I want to do in life. And obviously that's completely normal. I was there for a long time. There's probably people in their 50s, 60s who are probably still at that point, who haven't sat there and found what their calling is. But I think a great point that will help you with that is meditation, and just rather than necessarily sitting down and going, oh, I'm just going to clear my mind completely. Sometimes that might be better for you, and things will come to you through that type of meditation. But there's been times when I've sat there and I've meditated on a certain question, or a certain word, and see what it brings forward for me. So that might be you sitting there going, okay, what is the next stage in life for me, or what am I truly passionate about? And then outside the meditation aspect, if you're wanting to find more self-awareness, I would literally sit there and write down your strengths and weaknesses, and utilize your strengths. If you are good at something, hone in on that and find what you're most passionate about, because that'll probably lead you to where you're meant to go, what path you're meant to go down. But I think in society especially, a lot of us are told to doubt ourselves far too much, and if we're good at something, you know, people embrace what they're good at, and you either get called a show off or you gloat and stuff like that. But there's ways to, you know, you should be proud of your strengths, be proud of them, show them. You want to teach these to the world. You want the world to see what power you have. So definitely try and find your sense of calling, and I think that's one of the big keys that has helped in my confidence levels going up for sure. Now, the next point that I did want to touch on was when it comes to confidence within the self, it plays off as a very big factor to be nice to those around you. So by that, I mean, there's probably a few people sat there going, well, how nice you are affect your own self-confidence? Because there's lovely ass people out there who don't have a lot of confidence within themselves. But from my point of view, if you don't already, go out there, be nicer to people, even if it's strangers, give people compliments, because I think it's an automatic thing in a lot of people's brains to turn around and put other people down or criticize or judge other people because it makes them feel better than themselves. Whereas if you sit there and you can compliment everyone you see, or you can be nice to everyone you pass, no matter how familiar or how much of a stranger they are, it shows a strong sense of security in yourself, and that in itself is so powerful. It shows that you're content with where you are and who you are, and you don't need to put other people down to try to make yourself feel better or to try and make yourself put yourself on a pedestal. You don't need to put others down to do that. And I think when you start expressing that externally to other people, they get a sense of confidence because you know yourself, you know you're confident in yourself, and you want to see others do just as well. You want to hype other people up for where they're doing good because you're secure in what you do good yourself. As well as being confident enough in yourself to be so nice and kind and, you know, compliment other people around you, I think that goes hand in hand with blocking out judgment from other people. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, especially when you're a lot younger and you're in school and stuff like that, and a lot of judgments and comments from peers seems to mean the whole world to you at the time, or even if it doesn't, it can affect your social relationships with others, everything like that. But I think understanding where those disheartening comments or that judgment from other people comes from plays a big key, because you've just got to sit there and understand, well, if someone's trying to put me down or judging me for me being myself, then there's obviously some insecurity there in their own life, and that's not your own problem to deal with, honey. Like, people are always going to have their own issues, and if they choose to act out and push them other insecurities onto you by trying to put you down or judge you in certain ways, that's their own problem, and we hope they move forward. I hope they heal from that. But that's why you can't take things to heart too much, because it's seen in women especially a lot. You know, you have this internalized misogyny where women will be like, oh, I can't believe she's dressed like that, she's such a slut, all this sort of stuff. And maybe it's because they can't be as expressive or feel that comfortable in their own sexuality to do stuff like that. A lot of it does stem back from people's own insecurities, and you've got to learn not to take it to heart when other people do decide they want to make a comment or pass judgment on you. And I think having that understanding of where their judgment is coming from, and not just being like, oh, they've said this so it must be true, and feeling bad about yourself. Take a step back and go, well, why have they decided to even comment on how I dress, how I look, how I've acted? Why is that any of their business? Why do they feel the need to comment on that? And a lot of the time it's just coming from their own insecurities on how they either wish they could act, wish they could look, wish they could express themselves. So don't take things to heart too much, and it'll come slowly to you. It's hard to just pass on other people's judgment, but I think definitely understanding where that comes from gives you a more, I don't know, it gives you a wider sight over all of it, and it enables you just to overlook it and go, okay, I hope they heal, I hope they move on. I'm going to keep doing me and being me. Another thing I would like to suggest to you as well is to start journaling, whether that be daily or just whenever you feel like it. It could be every morning. A lot of people like to do mindful writing, so first thing in the morning, not even necessarily in the morning, but just sit down and start writing. Don't think about what you're going to write and just see what pours out onto the page. And the reason I'm suggesting journaling is because I think it helps you to get to know your own self a little bit better. Not the self that you are perceived as by your peers, your colleagues, your friends, who you actually are inside. And I think especially when it comes to going to work every day or have to go to school every day, college, all these other things, we kind of create an image of ourselves that isn't actually that isn't actually true to ourselves, if that makes sense. And if you journal stuff like that, I find when I do mindful writing and I get all these things out on a page, it's even helped me to understand little toxic traits I do and where they come from, and find a lot of roots to issues that I've not even necessarily seen as issues in the past, but I've just gone, oh, that's not me being true to myself, that's just me acting out of this whole persona that I've either created or the society's created around me. That's not actually me speaking there, or that's not actually me doing this. And I think when you explore yourself on a deeper level like that, it majorly affects your confidence as well. As I said earlier, if you're not being true to yourself, you're not going to be confident in yourself because it's not you. As I said earlier as well, meditation might be a good way just for you to get to know yourself better a little bit more. But I think journaling for me, personally anyway, because it's there on paper and it's in words, it just gives me a whole better idea of what's going on in my head. A lot more of the subconscious stuff, especially with mindful writing, just seems to pour out of me, and it's given me a lot more of an understanding on who I am and why I am the way I am, and why I do things certain ways or why I act certain ways. And once you have this different understanding of who you are, your actual self, why you act certain ways, it just kind of puts things into perspective, and you go, oh, all these other little attributes which I thought were so important, they're actually not, and they don't actually define who I am. They don't make a difference to the life I'm living. And it does bring your confidence up when you're more secure in knowing, like, this is me, I'm proud of me, I embrace who I am. And yeah, journaling's definitely been a big thing that's helped me with that in the past. Okay, so I think one of the last things I want to talk about now is being grateful and practicing gratitude for everything in your life. It could be from the simplest thing as I am grateful that I have a pair of shoes to wear on my feet, or it could be as amazing and being like, I have a pair of eyes that let me see such beauty in the world around me. But practicing gratitude, it puts things into context for you a lot as well, and you go, oh, all these other insecurities or things I'm worried about, they're so minute compared to the scale of life. And the more you practice gratitude as well, I feel like the more content you are with where you are in life right now as well. And I think a lot of confidence issues can come from feeling stuck, or feeling like you're not as far as where you should be in life right now, or that you're not at a certain place or making as much money as you think you should be, or all these little factors. And I think when we practice gratitude, it just shows contentness with where our current life is at. And it's just, you feel so much better in yourself when you're grateful for everything around you. As I said, if you're not content with where you're at in life, that's where all this self-doubt and like these self-diminishing thoughts come in, and you seem to end up talking more negatively to yourself about yourself then, going, oh, well, I haven't done this year, I haven't achieved this goal or reached this mark in my life that I thought I'd be at this point in time. And all these little criticising voices come in your own head. But I think the more you are grateful for where you are currently and the more content you are, the less you worry about those sorts of things, and the more confident you are, because you're not putting yourself down for not reaching a certain goal or being at a certain point in your life. And it's definitely a big factor in my life. I have a little journal where every day I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Or you don't even need a journal, you can literally wake up and first thing you do, list 3 things in your head that you're grateful for, whether that be for this day, this week, or just this life in general. And it just does put things into perspective more, that you have so much given to you. You are in abundance every single day, and you needn't worry, because everything's going to work out. Everything will pan out on your path for you. Maybe you're not at where you thought you'd be right now, but that could be because another event needs to happen to take you to a even better place than where you thought you'd be. So don't get disheartened by it, and be grateful for where you are right now, because within the next minute, all that'll have changed anyway, honey. Life's fluid, life's very fluid, and if we get stuck on putting ourselves down for not reaching certain points in our life, or certain little landmarks for ourselves, then the only person that's going to affect is you, and more than likely you're going to manifest worse things, and you are negative about stuff constantly, then that will manifest in your life. Whereas if you show gratitude and you show so much love to the universe for what it's gifted you with to this point, then you're going to attract more, and you will be where you need to be at this point in time, whether that's for a point of healing, a point of growth. But yeah, just feel secure, be content in where you're at, and I think that definitely will help boost your confidence up a lot. I think they are all the little points I am going to touch on for today. There's probably a lot more that I could talk about for confidence, but I might do that in a future video. I haven't filmed a fucking video in forever anyway, but I just felt I've got a little bit of time off in my flat, so I thought, fuck it, we'll get a little bit creative and yeah, put some positivity out there for the day. But hopefully this video helped a few people. If it didn't, oh well, hopefully someone appreciates it. But have a magical day, everyone. Sending love and light out, and I will speak to you soon.